What is the frequency? Frequency is about creating the thoughts, belief, feelings, and actions. Now, many of you are taking a lot of actions. Many of you have a great thoughts about the success and so on and so forth. However, we actually sometimes we feel that we are not good enough. Sometimes we don't move forward. Sometimes we find ourselves as lazy. Like I don't find myself as so much driven in the morning, right? I'm more of an night guy. Now, all these limitations that we have set for ourselves are self-created. It is something which we have realized that it is not imposed by the society. It is all about the self-creation. Now, this self-creation, if this is for self-creation, that means the whatever is beneficial for us can also be self-created. Okay, that is what we are going to create for ourselves for the next 21 days. Now, many of you are our community members. Many of you may not be the community members as well. Okay, many of you who are in ELC, you have a habit of probably getting up early and start this challenge as well. Okay, and for the next 21 days, consider me as one of your partner to do that. And if you follow through with all the actions that we are going to do in the next 21 days, I can assure you that your mindset and your frequency will be different. Okay. So we'll go into the depth of human behavior, which is the most complex entity in the world today. Okay. And in order to go through the human behavior, we'll be exploring a lot of elements. The emotions that we feel every day in, day out, that is what we are going to explore as well. And those emotions are probably creating the hurdle in your day-to-day work, in your success, and etc. That is what we are going to change as well. So while we start with the 21 days mind challenge, one of the things which I have realized in my life after 17, 18 years, I was just acting like a machine. Okay. So machine is given the instruction, and the instruction, based on those instructions, the machine works. There is no difference. Okay? And that instruction is already decided by the society, the office, the corporate, and so on and so forth, whichever environment that we are in, right? Now, if we need to change from machine to human, we need to start thinking. Now, what will we think? Generally, we can only think what we are forced to think. Okay? Remember that word. You will only think when you are forced to think. So if you are not forced to think about the 21 days mindset challenge, you will not actually come up with the 21 days mindset challenge. Okay? So you're forced to think. Now, what are the things that we can actually be aware of? So the first session is all about the self-awareness, the awareness which is required for you to understand yourself, that what thinking is going on, so that you don't become the slave of the thinking, what is forced to you. Okay. So if you become a human being who is actually self-aware of what you want to think, what you want to feel, what you want to act, then you control your destiny. If you are forced to do all these three elements of thinking, feeling, and actions, then you do not have any control on yourself. Making sense so far? Yeah. So what we'll be trying to do is today is to try and make you more aware about yourself. That is the self-awareness part. That is what we will be focusing on. Self-awareness comes when we recognize ourselves. How will we recognize ourselves? So as I mentioned, at an energy level, everybody is one. Okay. Whether you have a children, whether you have a parents, all these are the labels that we have today in the world. Okay. At a soul level, everybody is created equal by God. And whoever is your God, doesn't matter. So if that is the case, then we need to ask ourselves that how do I identify as my identity in this world? Okay. How do I feel that I am aware of myself? And one of the things which you need to be aware of is what you're good at and what you're bad at. It's the simplest thing that humans can actually identify themselves with. So I will say, okay, I'm good at probably communicating something to the people in a right way. Okay, I'm good at coaching. I'm good at probably making sure the people connect with each other and so on and so forth. So every one of us have something which we are good at, something which we may not be good at. Okay, which we call in the corporate language called the strengths and weaknesses. Okay. Now, when we talk about the strengths and weaknesses, our focus is always about the weaknesses. Okay. Everybody wants that. I want to improve on the weaknesses. Improve on the weaknesses. Why we call improve on the weaknesses? Because that is what has been told and taught to us in the corporate world. These are the area of improvements. Has anybody come in the corporate world in the appraisal system? These are the areas that you have to strengthen further. Or these are the areas that can actually help you further, which you are already having. Generally, it is not. So we have been always asked to identify lack, limitations in every one of us. Okay. That is the system conditioning that has been taught to us since the beginning, since childhood. Okay, you are not so good enough in this. You're not good in study. You're not good in sports. Why don't you improve on here? Why don't you improve on here? Why don't you improve on here? In the corporate, when we come, then we are asked to improve on many, many other things, right? Now, depending upon your designations or so, there are a lot of things you might have to improve, which may be required as well. Okay. I'm not saying it is not required. It is all fake. No, it is required for the situation as well. But what we forget in the process is what we have as a strength. Okay. What we have as a strength. And I'm a firm believer of this statement that leveraging your strength gives better result compared to the improvement in the weaknesses. How many of you agree with that? Leveraging your strength gives you better result compared to improvement in the weaknesses. Okay. So you need to ask yourself, how can I leverage my strength? But for that to happen, you need to be aware of what your strengths are. Okay. So today, when the day started with the self-awareness, I would request each and every one of you to just Google out the strength assessment. Whichever strength assessment comes in the first top three, just take those strength assessment and identify what your strengths are. Top three at least. Okay. Now, how will you validate whether this strengths are correct or not? That is where your surrounding comes into picture. So your surrounding, your people, your family members, your professional colleagues, and so on and so forth. You will be just asking so relevant questions about those strengths. Whether I'm demonstrating those strengths. Do you feel that I have this as a strength? That's a simple questions that you need to ask yourself just to validate that the assessment that you took from the Google is correct for yourself. Okay. Some of you may find it different. Some of you may find it the common one. Okay. Depending upon how your mood is. If your mood is angry and today you are under pressure to perform, then it may happen that you are going to probably give the wrong answers to the assessment as well, or a different answers compared to what you give in the normal situations. Correct. So assessments are just a directional in the nature. It may not be the fact sheet that you can rely on completely. It is based on the psychometry, right? Now, once you identify your strength and once you identify weaknesses as well, because the strength while assessment will also give you the weakness part of it or the improvement areas. Similarly, I'm sure you must be having your appraisal system or your boss is telling you something to improve upon. Now you have both the sides, strengths is available, weaknesses are available. Now you need to ask yourself, what achievements that I had in the past, it could be last 90 days, it could be last 1 year, it could be last 3 years or so, not go beyond that, that has demonstrated this strength. What achievements did I have that has demonstrated this strength? Why? Because we generally find it difficult to recognize the strength when the achievement comes, because achievement only comes when the leverage of the strength happens. So if I speak today with a 21 days challenge, I may not have probably come like you with the preparation of the list and so on and so forth, that presentation, this has to be done, because it is my strength to coach people through that normal way, right? Now, that may not be the case with every one of you. You may have to prepare to coach somebody. That is fine, okay? But that's not that it is a weakness. It is an improvement area, okay? So the question is, can you identify and be aware of what your strengths are, whether you can attach your past achievement to the strengths or not, whether you have demonstrated that achievement and the strengths, okay? And today, just leverage your strength in your day-to-day work. So when you go into the office or you're doing your work today, just ask yourself, this is my strength. How do I leverage in my today's day? Whatever activity that you do, okay? How do I leverage my strength? Your strength could be connecting to the people. So how do I leverage my strength? So I'll connect to the 2 or 3 more people today. My strength is to probably delegate work, okay? How do I leverage today? So you'll identify the task which can be leveraged, which can be delegated to some people, okay? My strength is to communicate well to my leadership. So what do I communicate today, which can be probably significantly giving you the visibility or the influence in that context? Making sense so far? Are you all with me? Yeah. So today's day, it's all about being aware of yourself in your strength, weaknesses. Identify that your strength has resulted into your past achievement. And now using this strength, you leverage that. And how it goes is what you're going to share with us at 8 o'clock in the night. Okay. That is what we have to do. Now, the second part of this ritual is all about being grateful. Okay. Now, many of you have learned the gratitude aspect of it by staying in this community as well, right? But those who are not, I would like to probably say this. If you can appreciate what you have, you will always appreciate what you do not have. Okay. So if you want to attract more and more, the best thing to probably attract more and more, or the best way to attract more and more, is to be grateful of what you have right now. Now, the what you have may be finding it little or less or a lack. So I do not have this position. I do not have this salary. I do not have this promotion. I do not have that respect. I do not have that impact, influence, so on and so forth, which is all fine, which is what you do not have. But our focus, which is what you do not have, doesn't mean that it will probably attract that thing. Because when you focus on what you do not have, you're already telling that you do not want. Okay? Because the not comes first. I do not have. So your focus is on not, because your mind doesn't understand the other thing except for this. Okay. And your mind has a very funny way of working, and that is to pick up the things which you do not want. How many of you have experienced? Yeah. If somebody is telling you that you don't look at here, you'll always look at here. Okay. Somebody is telling you that, okay, you don't do this, you will always trying to find out, okay, why he's saying, why not to do it. Okay. So instead of saying no to your mind, give the instructions that you want it to perform. Okay. It could be anything. So instead of saying that I do not have something, can we start saying that I have something? So tell it to perform that I have it. Okay. And we all have that in some other quantity. Not that everybody is lacking everything. That's not true. Okay. We are here right now because we have something or the other resources that has enabled us to be here. Right. So I want each and every one of you to probably close your eyes before we close the day and just express that gratitude for the things that you have, right from the material things to the immaterial things that you feel that you have. So, for example, the material thing is around your environment, your home, your possessions, and so on and so forth. Immaterial things is your own nature, your own way of working, your own behavior, your own actions, your own loved ones, your own way of loving people as well. That is also something to be grateful for. Okay. So close your eyes for 2 minutes and we'll close this day with the gratitude. Okay. Express your gratitude to everything that you have around, be it your possessions, be it your non-possessions, doesn't matter. Okay. And make sure that you're just acknowledging that and you're just thanking it. Okay. Thank you for X. Thank you for Y. Thank you for having this. Thank you for making me so communicative. Thank you for being lovable. Thank you for being strong in the face of all the uncertainty and the difficult situations. Thank you for having this home. Thank you for having the life. Thank you for breathing. So everything and anything that you can thank for in and around you for the 2 minutes. Okay? So that when you start your day, you are starting with the gratitude and not with the complaints. Okay, when you are ready, just open your eyes. Okay, so shall we promise ourselves that we'll be working on our strength today? Yes. Okay. Those who are on the pictures, they have the advantage, their photograph has been taken and it will be posted in your group as well. Okay. Please make sure that you start your day by assessing yourself. Okay. And today try to be grateful and forgiving others. Now removing the labels and the process. Okay. How many of you found that forgiveness worked today? For some of you, it was not working for a lot of you earlier as well. How many of you found it work today for you? Yeah. So many of the time, it is not about forgiving is not working. It is just how it is to be done. That is where the difference lies. Okay. Thank you very much for joining. I hope to have your company for the next 21 days.